Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. So update 1.49 is here, and alongside it we've got 10 brand new engine swaps. Now there is a lot of BMWs in the list, but this is a nice mixed bag of many different cars and many different engines, including 2 brand new engines to be swappable. So I'll go through all 10 of these new swaps and I'll give you my initial thoughts and opinions on each and every single one of them. So let's get to it. So we're going to start off with one of the new engine swaps from update 1.49. This is the only engine swap of its kind. This is the B58-GR-SUPRA, which goes in the M3 Evo. So this is one of the cheapest engine swaps in the game, and it's actually a pretty fantastic one. 136,500 credits for the swap itself. PP rating will go from 468.23 to 541.97. Displacement from 2467 to 2998. Naturally aspirated to turbocharged. The weight will also be reduced from 1200 kilograms to 1151. The max power will go from a standard 234 to 382. Torque will go from 24.5 to 51.0, and weight to power ratio 5.03 to 2.96. Another one of the brand new swappable engines for update 1.49 is the 690T Giulia. This is of course from the Alfa Romeo. In terms of the first of the 2 swaps this is possible with, it's the Mazda Atenza sedan. Yes, the road going version. I was pretty surprised to see this one. So let's head over and have a look at the stats on this swap. It will go from a base PP rating that is quite low at 378.31, that will go up to 522.03. Displacement will change from 2188 to 2891. Now the weight will go up slightly from 1600 to 1668, and then in terms of the power it will shoot up 172 to 532. In terms of the torque, it will go from 42.8 to 61.2, and the weight to power ratio will go from a pretty poor 9.12 to 3.08. Overall a pretty solid swap, and it is capable of doing the bouncing cars glitch. The second car to get the 690T Giulia engine swap goes to the Hyundai Genesis. This is the road going version. Overall this is a car that I've never really driven before or really had an excuse to. However, that may just have changed. Let's head over and have a look at the stats on this one. 521.96 to 566.79. In terms of the displacement, it goes from 3778 to 2.891. Naturally aspirated to turbocharged. In terms of the weight, it does go up slightly, 1557 to 1579 kilograms. BHP goes from 343 to 532. The max torque will go from 40.3 to 61.2, and the weight to power ratio 4.46 to 2.92. This again will cost you 210,000 credits, so not too expensive either. Next up we have the LS7-BRZ. This is a returning favourite swap for many people. The first of these cars is going to be the BMW M3 97, brand new for update 1.49, and getting an engine swap straight away. Now in terms of the base stats, it goes from 494.72 to 615.28. Displacement going from 3201 to 7816. Naturally aspirated to turbocharged. The weight does go up slightly from 1460 to 1515. BHP shoots up from 316 to 1037. Torque will go from 35.7 to 121.0, and the weight to power ratio 4.54 to 1.43. A firm fan favourite for those that absolutely love the drifting in GT7. The second car to receive the LS7-BRZ is going to be the M4 Gr.4. This is something we've seen before with both the Bugatti Veyron and the Honda NSX Gr.4, and I'm just not a fan of road going engines going into race cars. It takes away a lot from them. Still maintaining the 300,000 credit price. In terms of the stats, it's 625.66 to 735.39. The displacement of course will go up from 2979 to 7816. In terms of the weight, once again going up from 1365 to 1420. BHP will go from 394 to 1037. The torque will go from 52 to 121, and the weight to power from 3.40 to 1.34. Just note, in terms of fuel efficiency, that will be completely gone, and it does have a habit of absolutely shredding tyres. Honestly, I would just stick with the E36 for this swap. Now we're going to stick with the BMWs once again. This has another swap. This is a firm fan favourite by a lot of people, the P65B44-Z4 engine from the Group 3 Z4 race car. Sounds amazing, fuel efficient and pretty incredible. The first of these cars is the M3 from 2007. This is probably the weaker of the two swaps, so it'll cost you 325,000 credits. The stats will go from 546.35 to 578.53. Displacement from 3999 to 4361. In terms of the weight, it will be reduced just slightly from 1655 to 1653. Power goes from 415 to 522. The torque will go from 40.8 to 52.5, and the weight to power 392 to 3.11. However, we do already have a race car variant of this car in game. However, one that I am fairly excited for is the road going M4. This is exactly what we're getting for the second of the Z4 engine swaps. Now we of course do have the M4 Group 4, but that is limited to Group 4. So I feel like there's many more possibilities with this Group 3 engine swap for the M4 road car. In terms of the stats, it goes from 562.39 to 587.04. Displacement goes from 2979 to 4361. The car itself will go from turbocharged to naturally aspirated. The weight will go up slightly from 1497 to 1547. In terms of the power, it's 425 to 522. The torque does actually go down from 56.1 to 52.5, and the weight to power ratio will go from 3.46 to 2.91. This does make for a fairly great Group 3 race variant of the M4. Next up we have two Honda swaps. This is the K24A-CIVIC engine. I believe this one comes from the RCR Garage Civic. The first of the swaps is the Honda S2000. This is a fairly great swap overall. Now in terms of the stats, let's head over and check these out. So the price point for this one is going to be 250,000 credits. In terms of the PP rating from standard, it goes from 482.14 to 529.20. The displacement does not change. It goes from naturally aspirated to turbocharged. The weight does go up slightly from 1240 kilograms to 1279. The brake horsepower does shoot up quite a bit from 242 bhp to 389. The torque goes from 22.1 to 44.8, and the weight to power ratio goes from 5.02 kilograms to 3.23. However, that is not the only swap for that engine. The K24A-CIVIC engine also goes in the Mini Cooper S. Staying in line with the K20 engine swap in the Classic, this is a fairly solid overall swap and does make for a pretty fantastic glitch build on the current physics. In terms of these stats, once again we've got the same price point, 250k. The PP rating from standard goes from 437.31 to 515.06. The displacement does not change. It goes from supercharged to turbocharged. In terms of the weight, it goes from 1,180 kilograms and does have a fair jump to 1,263. The max power goes from a measly 167 to 389. In terms of the torque, it's 22.4 to 44.8, and the weight to power ratio is 6.93 to 3.19. A fairly great swap overall. Now in terms of the final engine swap, this is one of the rarer ones in game. The RB26DETT-GT-R-R34 can now go in the Nissan Skyline R31 GTSR. Now this is a pretty great engine swap, fantastic if you want to do a tuner or drift build for this car. Prior to this engine was only in one other car, which was I believe one of the Fair Ladies. A bit more expensive, this one 325,000 credits. In terms of the PP jump, it's going to go from 445.77 to 505.89. The displacement will go from 1998 to 2568. It will continue to be turbocharged. In terms of the weight, it goes from 1340 kilograms to 1416, so a slight gain there. The BHP will go from 207 to 336. The torque will go from 25.0 to 47.8, and the weight to power ratio will go from 6.36 to 4.14. So there we go, that is all 10 of the brand new engine swaps for GT7 update 1.49. A nice varied selection and some certain standouts. Whilst there is a bunch of BMWs, most of them do have some fairly decent swaps. In terms of the JDM swaps, they are absolutely fantastic, especially if you want to go down the maybe drift route, tuner route, road car route. They're absolutely spot on. We also have some race car conversions, which I always think is a massive plus point for the game. There's nothing better than turning road cars into race cars. It just adds more versatility to that vehicle. As always, don't forget to let me know your favourite down in the comments below, and let me know what you think of this batch of engine swaps as a whole. Massive thank you to all of my channel members, and a big welcome to my latest channel members. Honestly, if you do want to join it, it really does help me out between uploads, and I'm massively grateful for each and every single one of you. Anyway, have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care guys, peace.